Welcome, my friends. If you follow this channel, you already know that layoffs are basically in full-on mode in technology companies. In fact, there has been so much layoff news that I have had difficulty finding time to cover anything else. You have heard about the 50% layoff at Twitter, the 11,000-person layoff at Meta, and the 10,000-person layoff at Amazon, and many others. But I know that you are all waiting to hear how many people Google will lay off. So far, all we have heard about is stealth layoffs at Google. And if you follow this channel, you already know that a stealth layoff is a quiet, individualized layoff. Also, if you follow this channel, you know that a major activist Google shareholder is demanding layoffs. Activist investor TCI Fund Management holds a $6 billion stake in Google parent company, Alphabet. TCI told Google CEO Sundar Pichai that both salary expenses and headcount must come down. And this must be done using a much more aggressive action than by stealth layoffs. TCI has made the case that compensation and headcount at Google are just way too high. Much higher, in fact, than at other companies in the rest of Silicon Valley. Google remains one of a few tech companies to resist major layoffs, despite announcing a hiring slowdown recently. Right now, Google employees are nervous. This video continues our coverage of the wave of layoffs sweeping the United States and the ever more real prospect of layoffs at Google. What does it mean for Google? What does it mean for technology companies? What does it mean for Silicon Valley? What does it mean for the economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. As industry-wide layoffs hit bigger tech names, some Google workers worry they're next. While Google has so far avoided the widespread job cuts that have hit tech companies, particularly those supported by a slumping ad market, internal anxiety is on the rise, according to employees who spoke on the condition of anonymity. A month ago, in his strongest language yet, Google CEO Sundar Pichai telegraphed that layoffs are coming to Google. In his Q2 earnings call, Pichai said that Google's performance was far from good. He also said that Google is not performing as well as it should with the employee base that it has. If you follow this channel, you already know that Pichai gave a now infamous speech at the Vox Code conference in Los Angeles. At the conference, Pichai said that he is determined to make Google run on fewer resources as a slew of business challenges emerged. Pichai has set an efficiency improvement target of 20%. There's also been a recent change in how employee performance reviews work inside Google. Travel budgets are declining and there is less swag being handed out. Employees see these as signs that bigger cuts are coming. In July, Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai launched the Simplicity Sprint in an effort to bolster efficiency during an uncertain economic environment. Not far away, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced a 13% layoff. That amounts to more than 11,000 Meta employees. If you follow this channel, you already know the financial narrative of these days. Inflation is raging in many countries of the world. Central banks are aggressively raising interest rates in order to fight inflation. Consumer discretionary spending is weakening as consumers deal with both inflation and rising interest rates. So, corporate marketers are cutting back on ad spending, especially online. Online ad spending is the lifeblood of many big tech companies, especially Google and Meta. So, both companies are being hit hard by these deteriorating macroeconomic conditions. Although, Google may be not hit quite as hard as Meta. Snap announced a 20% workforce reduction back in August. And in high-profile fashion, Twitter just cut half of its workforce. New owner Elon Musk took charge. HP said that it plans to lay off 6,000 employees over the next 3 years. Fortunately for Google, its business has not been impacted quite as hard as many of its peers. But the United States is teetering on the brink of recession. Inflation is raging. And people are having to deal with increasing interest expense for any money that they borrow. Ad revenue from YouTube shrank in Q3 as compared to Q3 of last year. And Google's growth has slowed to pedestrian levels. Google CEO Sundar Pichai committed to reduce headcount growth in Q4. Even the crypto market is having a negative impact on Google's latest results. And the collapse of crypto exchange FTX does not help. There are widespread concerns about industry contagion. Actually, Google has already cut some employees around the edges. The next generation Pixelbook laptop has been cancelled. Funding for the Area 120 in-house business incubator was sliced in half. Digital gaming service Stadia was shut down completely. And employees are getting nervous about the possibility of more layoffs. Some employees are creating memes expressing anxieties about potential job cuts. There were also memes created about the letter from activist investor TCI Fund Management. TCI told CEO Sundar Pichai to cut salaries and headcount using aggressive action. Pichai faced an angry group of employees and found himself on the defensive in a September all-hands meeting. Pichai was forced to explain the Google's changing position after years of supercharged growth. The message to employees was that there would be small cuts, but layoffs were not off the table. Many rank-and-file employees think that Google executives mismanaged headcount. It appears that we added 36,000 full-time role year over year, increasing headcount by about 24%, said one employee. Many teams feel like they are losing headcount, not gaining it, the employee said. In hindsight, and given concerns around productivity, should we have hired so rapidly? Asked the employee. Google CEO Sundar Pichai told the Vox Code conference that Google needs to become 20% more productive. How are we going to achieve 20% more productivity? Will refocus be enough or are we expecting layoffs? Asked a Google employee. If you follow this channel, you probably know that Google changed its system for employee performance reviews last week. And, as I am sure you can imagine, that is spiking up employee stress levels. Google also said that it was getting rid of its long-held practice of handing out lengthy promotion packets. In that system, employees filled out and that included reviews from bosses and coworkers. Google streamlined that process to the new Googler Reviews and Development, GRAD. The GRAD system was launched to help employee development, said a Google spokesperson. GRAD enables coaching, learning and career progression throughout the year, the spokesperson continued. It helps establish clear expectations and provide employees with regular feedback, the spokesperson added. Google CEO Sundar Pichai said a new system would result in higher pay. But workers are not buying it. They say the overhaul has left more room for ambiguity in ratings. And, this comes at a time when the company is looking for ways to cut costs. The planned overhaul has already run into problems. Google ended its use of BetterWorks, which is designed to help with evaluating employee performance. For now, Google executives said they plan to instead use a Google-created system. That the upcoming year-end performance checks are at stake with this improved system. Google now has what they call support check-ins. These are performance reviews targeting certain employees. But, employees who receive this review, the current performance trajectory is headed toward, or already is in, a lower rating. There are 3 steps in this method. First step. Breathe before taking in manager's feedback. Second step. Understand the feedback. Third step. Devise a plan. 10% to 20% of are subject to this type of review. Add it all up. Employees are asking is, will a bunch of small cuts lead to bigger cuts? Apparently, employees and executives had a kerfluffle over cutbacks. Things like swag, travel and holiday parties. Rank-and-file employees complained about a lack of transparency, especially as it relates to travel cuts. They asked why Google was not saving money by cutting executive salaries. Rank-and-file employees are flocking to MemeGen to make fun practically everything going on at Google right now. If you follow this channel, you already know that Google is under serious pressure from Wall Street. Activist shareholder TCI Management has said that Google must take aggressive action to trim headcount and salary expense. Google needs to deliver a clear action plan to investors, TCI Fund Management wrote in a letter to CEO Sundar Pichai. TCI Management has a stake in the Alphabet valued at $6 billion. Even with that seemingly high stake, TCI is still not one of the top 20 Google shareholders. TCI's stake in Alphabet is less than 1% of outstanding Alphabet shares. But TCI has steadily increased its stake since 2017. Our conversations with former executives suggest that the business could be operated more effectively with significantly fewer employees, read the letter from TCI. Overstaffing at tech companies is a poorly kept secret in Silicon Valley, the letter also said. 2022 has seen an absolute parade of layoffs in technology companies. Twitter laid off 50% of its employees. Meta laid off 11,000 employees. Amazon laid off 10,000 employees. Snap laid off 20% about a month ago. Google, one of the few large tech companies that has not publicly announced headcount reductions. TCI wants Google to increase its share buybacks. After years of unbridled headcount and salary growth, Google is facing economic challenges like never before. Speaking at Code Conference in Los Angeles, Pichai cited examples of how merging two products into one would enable team size to be cut. Like other corporate chiefs, Pichai pointed out that there is economic uncertainty about the future. But, what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.